Om Premamridanandamayyai Nityam Namo Namaha. Om Premamridanandamayyai Nityam Namo Namaha. Om Premamridanandamayyai Nityam Namo Namaha. Om Amradeshwariyai Namaha. I humbly bow down at Amma's Sri Mata Amridanandamayi Devi's lotus feet, the Chancellor of Amrita Vishwavidyapitham and the whole and soul of our organization. My namaskarams, loving greetings to Honorable Union Minister Sri Gajendra Singh Shekhawat and to all the dignitaries and participants of the symposium from various parts of the world. There is a growing awareness about the changing conditions of the world, in particular the scarcity, poor access, contamination, and droughts that impede the availability of water. How can we ignore that in rural India, 155 million people do not have access to drinking water and 1.5 million children die each year due to poor quality drinking water? You must have heard the poem written by Samuel Taylor Coleridge, the 17th century English poet. Water, water everywhere, and all the boats did drink. Water, water everywhere, nor any drop to drink. There is another saying attributed to Mark Twain. I quote, "Whiskey is for drinking, water is for fighting." Yes, the scarcity of water has become such a huge crisis that countries and people all over the world are fighting for it. Sharing river water is a major cause of unrest between countries, between two states within a country, between two sections of people within a community, and between neighbors. The strife is mostly due to ego and possessiveness. The river is full and it has always been flowing, but we humans don't want to share. Conversely, our selfishness tempts us to possess the river, one of Mother Earth's natural resources. Our ego with the attitude, it is my life, I can live it whichever way I wish, is the problem. We protest against the wholeness principle and want to separate. When the tree, consider the tree as a totality, when the tree wills something, we, the leaves, are opposing it and think that we can achieve something different. Whereas the leaves are part of the tree is part of a bigger phenomenon known as the earth. The earth is part of another bigger phenomenon. Likewise, the wind, the oceans, the solar system are all parts of a bigger phenomenon. They're all part and parcel of a whole. We can only share when we realize this wholeness, the oneness principle. There is a Hindu spiritual text by the name Srimad Bhagavatam. In one of the chapters named Bhumi Gita, Bhumi means earth and Gita means speech or sermon. So basically, it is a speech given by Mother Earth about the stupidity of humankind, about the kings, the rulers, bent on conquering her. Seeing the kings on this earth or the rulers on this earth busy trying to conquer her, the earth herself laughs. She says, just see how these kings, who are actually playthings in the hands of death, think that they will gradually conquer the entire earth. Their ego prevents them to see death waiting nearby. Mother Earth continues. Although in the past great men and their descendants have left me, departing from this world in the same helpless way they came into it, even today, foolish men are trying to conquer me. For the sake of conquering me, people fight one another. Fathers oppose their sons, and brothers fight one another because their hearts are bound to possessing power, political power. Hence, they challenge one another. All this land is mine, it's not yours, you fool. Thus, they attack one another and die. Amma says we are only visitors in this world. We are here for some time. While we live here, we claim many things as ours, including trees, plants, a small piece of land, and even natural resources. Our visit to this world will soon be over and someone else will come take our place. So stop claiming ownership of natural resources and learn to share because everything belongs to the universe. Sharing is the very principle of existence. And once that is observed, once that is not observed, nature will turn against humans. In today's world, the human psyche is conditioned to believe that we need to drink 2 to 3 liters of water every day. Who knows where this concept came from? Everywhere you see people walking around with several bottles of water. When a family goes out for a picnic, the trunk of at least one car will be reserved to stock water bottles. So much so, drinking water companies are proliferating in the world. Most shops display multiple drinking water brands on their shelves. Each bottler claims that theirs is the purest water. Bottled at the source is a common label we see on almost all water bottles. Is the so-called spring water we buy from shops for almost the same price of 1 liter of gasoline really bottled at the source? As a college student, as a young boy, I still remember the availability of as much water as I wanted from any public tap, and it was free. Water was free even in shops. Of course, in those days, our rivers were clean. Hence, even public tap water was clean and had no chemicals. I'm reminded of a simple story from the early days of our ashram, our NGO. Even back then, Amma was warning about the impending shortage of water. There was a tap that was dripping maybe 1 drop every 10-15 seconds. And no one thought much about it as it was just a drop here and there. One morning, Amma put a bucket under the tap. And by evening, the bucket was almost half full. Thus, Amma demonstrated how we could recapture half a bucket of water a day just by saving those drops. Amma said, even a drop is precious. A drop of water is precious. And never forget those who die of thirst. And when everyone had to start wearing masks during the pandemic, Amma, during a bhajan session, one of the evening bhajan sessions, explained how to wash a mask, minimizing the use of water. She said to take a small pitcher. She even brought 2 small pitchers on the stage. And she put the mask in the water, spin the mask in the soapy water, and one was a small pitcher with the soapy water, and the other was a small pitcher with the fresh water. So Amma put the mask in the soapy water, spin the mask, and then put the mask in a small pitcher of clean water. She said, the amount of water used will be much less than if one uses a running tap to access water. So this is such an inspiring example. And no one who watches this will have the right attitude. They will not waste water. They will think of the poor, the thirsty. I mean, the countries where people are dying of thirst. So in this context, I would also like to say that the ashram residents have become so cognizant of water-saving concepts. We are able to share water with the nearby villagers from our borewell on an everyday basis. There is much discussion and research about the shortage of water, but now action must be taken. We must move from thinking to fully understanding the problem and looking at options to solve it. I have heard it said that when we make that leap of faith and shift into action, intelligence, creativity, and courage show up. The ocean waters are deep, but it is an ocean of possibility. Leveraging the dominant theme of our university's vision and priorities, the solution to the water shortage focuses on compassion-driven research with a strong societal impact. Amrita University has done so much to increase the distribution systems of water and to promote sanitation. There is much to be learned by studying their vision and techniques, but it is a proverbial drop in the bucket for the worldwide shortage of water. Citizens across the globe must learn how to protect nature in order to protect our water supply. Amma says that if there is a one word solution for most of the problems in the world, it is compassion. Spirituality teaches us to see each other's suffering and happiness as our own. Amma has suggested in her talk at the United Nations that youth from around the world should visit poor rural villages to awaken compassion. When they see the villagers, when they live with them, when they eat the same food, when they sleep in the same bare floor with no facilities, in their small huts or in the open space, they will develop, they will understand. They will understand the pain of life, the grief, the tapas. So Amma feels strongly that once love and compassion is awakened, youth will earnestly want to play a major role in understanding the challenges the poor face and want to help in providing solutions. And so Amrita University hosts students from around the world in the Live-in Labs program. So these students can study the water shortage rural Indian villages face. Compassion follows naturally. Amma says in today's world, there is a big scarcity of love. She continues, in my opinion, both men and women should develop feminine qualities or motherly qualities. The awakened love and compassion felt not only towards one's own children, but towards all people, animals and plants, rocks and rivers, a love extended to all of nature, to all beings. Just as we take care of our own house, family and children, we should care for the world, the bigger home where our families live. Expand your heart and give space for others also. And that's what spirituality teaches, to know oneself and grow out of one's limitations. Let me conclude with a quote from the Hindu scripture. I quote, "Look to this day, for it is life, the very breath of life. In its brief course lie all the realities of your existence, the bliss of growth, the glory of action, the splendor of beauty. For yesterday is only a dream, and tomorrow is but a vision. But today, well lived, makes every yesterday a dream of happiness, and every tomorrow a vision of hope. Look well, therefore, to this day." I conclude. May the takeaways of this conference inspire those who come into contact with all the dignitaries and participants, and may we have a better world where everyone has enough to eat and enough water to drink. Thank you so much. Om Amradeshwariyai Namaha.